right. Hello, family and friends. Welcome to another episode of the Reimagine You Lab podcast. Of course, it is me, MG, your lovely host. And always want to make sure that I do the thing and just make sure if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because every Friday we come with a new episode and there is somebody in the lab that you are going to want to meet. So I just want to make sure that I do that before we jump in. And I've got to tell you guys, we have a dynamic young lady that's in the lab with me today. Hey, Mashara.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, girl. Listen, we're excited to have you, excited to hear from you today. And you guys, y'all know how I do. Y'all know how I do. What's about to go down. This is the time when we're gonna go beyond the bio, so you guys can know who Mashara Peters is too. So Mashara, I am gonna kick it to you. Tell them who you are, where you're at, what you do, and how you're doing it.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Bashara Peters. I am a grad student. This is my second year at UTSA. I am majoring in English with a certificate in creative writing. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, but currently I live in San Antonio. And I am a traveler. I love to write. I'm a huge fashionista. I love to try new things. I'm a huge horror movie, fantasy, all that. I love ghosts, the paranormal, all that. So, yeah, nice to meet you all.
Yeah. Well, Mashara, we are so glad that you are here. Now, one thing you said that you're a creative writer, but there's something new going on with you right now. You are also an author, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And I want to talk about that because you're a grad student, like all of the things, there's so much more to who each person really is, so as we get started here today, just kind of to dive in a little bit, share with us a little bit about how you even got started creative writing into the paranoia and dystopian and all the different things that you just shared there. How'd you get there? How that bug get started in you?
Well, I started storytelling and writing when I was 6 years old. I can't remember what kind of story I was writing, but it was so good. Like, I would like to write like fantasy, girl power, sometimes paranormal stuff. Like, it's kind of my thing. Like, it started off as an expression. Like, I would like write it to express my feelings. But as the years go by, I started writing as a passion. Like, I've been writing for like 17 years now. So, which is a crazy shocker, but I love to write. Like, I would like write my butt off for almost everything.
Yeah. You know what? But that's good, right? Like, that's one of those things where hey, this is my passion. This is not only what I get excited about, this is what I do. If nobody was paying me for it, this gives me energy. It's a way for you to thrive. So when you're writing, are you doing like articles and things like that? Or are you doing, we know that you've got your book and we're going to talk about it a little bit here in just a bit. But what kind of things were you writing?
I would write I started out writing like short stories, but then as the time go by, I would usually like create like chapter like books in a notebook or a journal. And I would like talk about a specific character, like what are they doing? What's going on? What's happening? And I would intertwine with that with the fantasy, paranormal, all that to make it more and more interesting, like, typical creative vibes and stuff.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love it. I love the fact that that's the place that you can go. You so many ideas and get super creative with things. You're probably one of and I meet a lot of creative people, and you are definitely one of those. When you're thinking about, so talk to us. Let's talk about the book, because I think that's a big piece of who you are. You've had several interviews here recently, and so I'm like, you know what, Mashard, talk to us a little bit about the book. Like tell us about what the book is. I know it's Secrets in Avalon, into the Avalon Forest. So how did you come up with the concept of the book and getting that started and off the ground? What pushed you there?
Okay, so before all that, so I was a senior in college, and
Mhm,
one day my anthropology professor, I was taking a anthropology class as an elective
mhm,
called Witchcraft and Magic, and one day my professor assigned us on a project that we have to talk about a movie, a book, or a TV show that shows a representation of magic or witchcraft. And
okay.
throughout that, my first initial choice was a TV show called The Secret Circle with Britt Robertson from The Space Between Us, Shelley Helling from Teen Wolf, and Phoebe Tonkin from the originals. And
Mhm,
before I was working on the project, my mind was constantly switching to another movie. And it was one of my favorite movies that I watched throughout my childhood called Bratz Fashion Pixies. And
okay.
I kind of changed my answer to that. And while I was working on the project, something came into my mind and it kind of got me thinking, oh, wait, perfect, perfect, perfect. And at first, I was focusing on an original book series, but then I was like, you know what? Let me come back to it and work on something fun, something interesting.
Mhm,
And using Bratz Fashion Pixies as a reference, I started writing this book. And the thing that came into my mind was something that combines with fantasy,
mhm.
mystery, but a little bit of teen drama in it. And that's
Okay.
how I came up with Secrets in. But then I had to come up with something completely original. And
Mhm,
that's where
mhm.
it came up to my mind, which is Avalon, which
Okay.
is okay, perfect. Secrets in Avalon, that is perfect. And then in December of 2023, I was at a creative writing workshop class and I kind of got a little bored and I decided to like, you know what? Let me just work on the first chapter of the book. And it was not unexpected. It was unexpected. Like
Okay.
I was bored. Like I need something to calm
Mhm.
my calm me down. And that's how I started writing the chapter. And then from Christmas break through winter break and sometime throughout the school year, I started working on chapters 1, 2, 3, and I think 4. But then
Mhm.
as the months go by, I decided to take a little break to focus on my schoolwork. But
Yeah.
then at around April, I think I went back to the book, and then I
Mhm.
started working, and working, and finally I ended up on the last chapter, and thank goodness, and not unexpected, I finished the whole book. Like I finished the entire book throughout the entire summer. Like it
Wow.
was amazing. Like it was an awesome experience, and
Yeah.
given the fact that I have a habit of being indecisive when it comes to choosing things. I'm
Mhm.
so glad that I finally stuck with the book and
Got it
I
done.
finished it. I finished it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I
I love, girl, listen, you got it done. Now, for those who haven't yet read Secrets in Avalon, can you give us a snapshot of the story? Give them a snapshot because you've told us what inspired you and kind of how you got started, but give them a little bit of snapshot of the story so it can pique their interest too.
Yeah, definitely. So, Secrets in Avalon is about a 16-year-old girl named Hannah Sumter who is from Chicago, Illinois. She moves from Chicago to Avalon, Missouri, which is a fictional town
Mhm.
40 minutes outside of Kansas City. She moved here because she was struggling with the disappearance of her sister Caroline. And throughout her time, she meets 5 other girls: Sydney Barnes, Zoe Park, Dominic Arias, Amber Dodge, and Nia Washington.
Mhm.
But when they discovered that their town is not what it seems. And Avalon is actually a world filled with fairies that is completely heading to the ordinary world. Like there's fairies,
Mhm.
there's sprites, There's Pegasi, which is another word for Pegasus. And
Mhm.
there's also a lot of fairies and other creatures.
Of the creatures
But
there. Okay. So you know what? Avalon's always often associated with like mystery and transformation, right? So why did you choose that as the setting, and what does it symbolize in your book?
well, for Avalon, I wanted to come up with something completely different, unique, and original because
Okay.
I've seen a lot of authors who constantly chose like fictional settings and fictional places that they always do. And I'm like, hey, I'm good at that. Maybe I can do that.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
that's how I chose Avalon. And for the Missouri, some of the authors that I've read, they've been constantly choosing like California, New York, and other places. And it got me thinking, hey, where's some Missouri folks? Where are some
Right.
people who put
Let's bring it
Missouri
back
as an
home.
actual
Yeah.
setting? Like, where is some actual people who can put Missouri? So I'm like, you know what? Since no one wants to use Missouri, let me be the first one to choose Missouri. Not to mention I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. So,
Right.
and given the fact that Avalon, Missouri, I'm thinking, hey, match made in heaven, perfect setting. And
Mhm.
I have to figure out something like, what can I do to make it more interesting? And that's
Mhm.
where it hit me. I want to make this setting to be like 40 minutes away from a specific city.
Mhm. Mhm.
There is a lot of popular cities back in Missouri, and
Yeah.
the first name that came into my mind was Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm like,
Mhm.
hey, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
And that's how Avalon, Missouri was born.
All right. Well, I like it. Hey, you got a nod to the hometown. Keep it, like put Kansas
Representing,
City on the
representing Missouri, representing. And not only
map.
that, and I want to represent that as to represent not just my roots, but
Yeah.
for my family and my friends who also grew up in Missouri. So, yeah.
Yeah, yay. This is for everybody. Okay. I love that. Now, you know what? Now, of course, in Reimagine, we are always talking about change, things moving forward, and all of that. Your characters, when I think about the characters and you name the five young ladies that are the stars of the book, all of them kind of face some pivotal changes in their lives, right? What do you hope readers learn about navigating change through the journeys of these five young women?
I think, excuse me, I think what can readers expect from these six girls is to how they not only represent sisterhood and friendship, they want to
Mhm.
represent how they could solve problems, they can have each other's back, and how they could work together throughout their
Mhm.
circumstances and everything. And
Mhm.
even though when times get tough and there are some ups and downs, they still have this sisterly bond that these six girls can come together. And
Yes,
it's
I said five. Yes, it is six. My bad. Yes, six women, six
six
young
women,
ladies.
six teenage girls. And it's not just magic or using like magic or
Mhm.
creatures. It's about friendship, sisterhood, friendship, working
Mhm.
together, forming friendships along the way, and showing that love and friendship can almost get through anything.
Yeah, no, that's good. You know what? And we need more of that, right? Within our classes of women, because one of the things that they say girls can't get along. That's not true. They can. They absolutely can. You know what? I think you'll hear me say on the show and otherwise that change is a choice, right? And sometimes it's forced upon us. How does Secrets in Avalon into the Avalon Forest explore both sides of that? Being forced into change, but also making a change by choice.
I would say a little bit of both. Like,
Mhm.
let's say that Hannah, Sydney, Zoe, Dominique, and Amber and Nia, they discover a hidden world and they gain powers, they struggle how to come along, and then all of a sudden they like, you know what? Let's work on it. Let's work on it together. And that's how their bond, their sisterhood, friendship was formed. Like they know how to help each other, they know how to work together and everything else. And even though the times got tough, that's how the sisterhood and the friendship is the solution to almost everything.
Yeah, you know what, I really like that. I like the part of that. So when you're thinking about making changes, what role do you think that secrets play in either holding somebody back or propelling them towards growth?
Definitely propelling them towards growth. Like it gives them an opportunity to speak up, stand up, help each other out, being there for somebody and helping them grow a little bit so they can see how they are progressing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you'll have to, is there any, are there big secrets to learn to be exposed? Now, you ain't got to tell us what the secrets are, but are there
No, no,
secrets?
no. You're gonna have to find out in the books, in the later books.
Okay. All right. But there's secrets there. I'm like, y'all, like, I always want to dig in and see what am I going to learn. And so that we definitely want to encourage people to make sure they get copies. So if Avalon itself, Mashara, could speak, what wisdom would it offer about moving forward?
Ooh, that's a good question. The wisdom. I would say the wisdom for Avalon is to always go out there, always find who you really are, and always remember that you're the person who can unlock anything, almost to anything.
Mhm. Yeah, you know what, I love that. A lot of times we'll hear or I talk a lot about, mindset growth, moving when you're talking about moving forward and being able to, you know, take wisdom, right? Wisdom will propel you forward. Wisdom doesn't usually take us back, right? It doesn't usually take us back somewhere. It's usually getting us further ahead. Was there anybody is of the characters in the story in transformation, was there any of the characters in the book that feels most personal to you? And then tell us why.
Ooh. So basically, I would go with the people that are really close to me, really inspire me. So if I could pick one characters out of the book, it would definitely be Nia because she is a good representative of not just myself, but the
Mhm,
people who have this fun loving, confident, sassy, outgoing personality. And
mhm,
she reminded me of some people who are sassy, sweet, kind, friendly,
mhm,
compassionate,
mhm,
but still carried this vibe going on. Like
mhm,
she inspired me so much because she is one of the best characters that I've worked with throughout all of these characters because she shows a representation of how she
mhm.
is. She could be sweet, she could be tough, she could be sassy, she could be outgoing and a bubbly personality. Like she is one of the best characters that really inspired me the most.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. I like that. I always think that, like an Arthur, they embody this, the book, the characters, they know them intimately, and sometimes you'll hear Arthurs will share with me, like this person is definitely my person. If I was a character, this would be who I am. And so no, okay, well, I'm gonna be looking for Nia in the book.
You'll love her. She is amazing.
I know, you know what, Mashar, all of the characters, what I have, I've gotten some behind the scenes story. I won't tell it to everybody. I won't, I have to keep it a secret until you get your copies of the book so that you guys can, listening audience, I want you guys to tune in, Dallin. As a matter of fact, and we'll be sharing Mashara's the website, the www.secretsandavalon.com. You can go ahead now. You can get copies of the book. You can join the fan club. It's a lot. It's lots in there. We'll make sure that we share that again too. But were there moments, Mashara, when you think about the characters? Were there moments when the characters surprised you? Like, and you ended up taking the story in a direction you didn't really expect. I hear Arthur sometimes say that, what, I started off and I was thinking here, but we ended up there. So did you have any moments like that with any other characters?
Oh, definitely, definitely. So there was this particular scene that really surprised me the most when Hannah, she was struggling how to come up with a plan, and then all of a sudden she remembers Caroline's words that she would always tell her, and then hearing Caroline's words, she automatically changes. Like she went from this person who is grieving, trying to struggle to rebuild her life after being in a new city, to a confident, strong, assertive leader, and thanks to the sister's words. And when she becomes a leader, she started to clear away all her thoughts about her sister's disappearance, and she was able to help the others on how she can come up with a plan to defeat Lucan, who is the villain of the book, and also a servant to Queen Vivia, who is the main antagonist of the book. So seeing
Okay.
Hannah grow a little bit and showing how she proved to everybody that she could be a leader to everyone else. That's one of the best moments that I've ever written.
Oh, that's good. You know what? Transformation is sometimes you don't know what's going to be that pivotal thing. Either that's something that somebody said or that was remembered, something that you saw or experienced. Okay, girl, and you done gave them some characters and everything that they can they can be looking for. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. If you could step into Avalon one day, like Michelle, you going down that path, you done made it to Avalon, but whose path would you walk alongside of and hope to learn from? Which
Oh,
one of those girls?
oh my God. Those girls, they are so fantastic. I mean, they are the best characters I've read. And I don't know, I'm so
I know you
indecisive.
want to go. I'm going down all the paths.
But seriously, if there's one character, it would definitely be Nia, because I
Mhm.
want to see how she went from this caring, bubbly, carefree spirit, sassy, spunky girl to this person who is grieving over the disappearance of her twin brother, whose name is Devante. Like, I want to
Yeah.
see more of that. Like, how is she handling the situation more?
Yeah. Yeah. I know, you know how like whenever you're in the books or into movies, you're always kind of like, okay, what happens after I close the book? Like what all of the additional storylines and things that are happening with those individual characters that you don't see in the book, but you wonder about. So I know I knew that might be a tough one for you. Oh my God. So when you're thinking about, how do you want readers to feel when they turn the final page? They get the book, they read it all, they know everybody now. What do you want them to feel though when they turn that final page? They finish it. What's the feeling?
I want them to feel that they need to know that what's going to happen when they handle the next mission. Like, they know they became fairies, they know they became a close knit group, but the question is, how are they going to handle it? Like, how are they going to
Mhm,
process everything as a
mhm,
team, as a clique, as a friendship group, everything?
mhm. Okay. Okay, so if somebody's standing at like crossroads in their own life, right? Like there's things that are going on, and they need to make a decision. There's a path that they're going to have to follow, that fork in the road. How could Secrets of Avalon encourage them to take their next step?
Ooh, good question. So I think it will encourage to take the next step is by, you know, seeing them who they really are and how they can become a good person by growth, progress, and how whenever you have a problem, you always have a friend in need. Like, basically, it's a found family and a found friendship and sisterhood. Definitely that.
Okay, okay. Um, No, that's good. That's good stuff. Good stuff. I'm loving this. So let's go behind the scenes a little bit, right? Like we always, so we've got the characters, and we know that there's a story and stuff going on here. What's your biggest personal change or Avalon moment you would say while writing the book? Like, what was the biggest personal change, or even if it's not writing the book, because I know that's a change, but what would you say has been your biggest personal change for Mashara?
Oh, I would say the big personal change ooh, is how I was able to overcome my indecisiveness when I wrote and started this book series. Like when I wrote when I wrote chapter one for the first time, I
Mhm.
always kept thinking, wait, do I need to go back to the original book series or the new book series? But luckily, I was like, you know what? Let me put that aside for a little bit and focus on the new series because I came up with it. I started it. I chose the movie as a reference. The movie is the reason why I chose this book series. That's
Mhm.
how I got through with it.
That's what you're gonna go. Okay. So so when I thinking about kind of piggybacking on that, thinking of, indecisiveness, like that's one of those skills that, sometimes people don't realize that's a skill that needs to be built and exercised, the muscle that needs to be exercised. What would you say, are there any Easter eggs or hidden details in the book that readers might miss on the first read?
Oh, that's a tough one. Honestly, I would say there's nothing to be missed. Like everything's in there, to be honest.
Okay. No, that's good. Like, how sometimes they'll throw something else in there, like you wouldn't even expect this, but this is in there. Now, I love that. Mashar, when you're thinking about, like even deciding to write a book, and not just a book, but a whole series of books. The target is like young adult girls, right? Like it is, or just young adults, period.
Young
Um,
adult girls.
okay, young adult girls. So for those young adult girls and that sisterhood and connection, I hear you talk a lot about that. um was that as part of that inspiration, and you deciding to be a storyteller for that group? Was there a reason that you chose young adult girls?
The reason why I chose young adult girls is because I want to give out a message to every girl that no matter if you're different from everybody or different from your friends, there's always a empowerment that you can always search for. Like you have girl power, you have empowerment, you have support from your fellow friends, your fellow girls. Like I want to give out a message to all girls that no matter where you come from, no matter if you're different from everybody, the sisterhood is always there. And
Mhm.
I want to give out a message to all girls that you don't have to be different from everybody else. You don't have to change for anybody else, but being
Mhm.
there is the best answer to almost everything.
Cool, I like that. All right. So looking ahead, thinking about, future forward, this is a series. Is there anything that you can tell us about the next installment of of the series? Um, I know you can't tell it all. Um,
I'll give out
it,
I'll give out a few pointers.
okay, okay.
Well, first and foremost, the journey is not over yet. There's 27 secrets that they have to overcome. And in the second book, you'll find out that the girls, even though they're still the mystic pack, they need to figure out how they can get along because there's a next adventure that's awaiting for them. And
Okay.
there's some issues with with these girls, like personality clashes, struggling to work together, everything else. But when Hannah receives like an anonymous letter to an unknown person and she agrees to help this person, she and the other girls wants to help this person. And I'm not going to say the person's name yet
Okay.
because it will spoil the whole book.
No spoilers.
No
No
spoilers,
spoilers.
no spoilers. But this proves, But this next installment proves that it will show that they will work together through everything, even though they're different from each other by their personalities and everything. But they'll prove that they want to help this person out and work together, and teamwork and everything else is the key to everything.
All right. No, I love that. How has writing the book changed you as a storyteller or even as a person? Has it?
Ah, not as much.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then okay, so what's next for you on your writing and creative journey?
Well, for starters, like I said, the journey's not over yet. So I got 27 books that I had to work on,
Mhm,
but I am currently working on getting my master's degree
mhm,
of English with a certificate in creative writing.
mhm,
And I will do a lot of traveling because I'm a huge traveler, lots of
mhm,
things to overcome. So
mhm.
basic stuff.
No, I love that. I love that. We're finishing school. We traveling because we got to take some breaks and get some me time in there.
Yes, yes.
And we got some more secrets to uncover. Well, Mashar, I want you to tell folks how they can get in contact with you, get copies of the book.
Yeah, definitely. So, for all the people, be sure to purchase your book on www.secretsandavalon.com. And you can also follow the Instagram account called hashtag Secrets in Avalon hashtag on Instagram. So, be sure to look out for some updates, some fashion advice, quotes of the day. You can meet the characters, playlist, everything. So don't miss out.
Do not miss out, y'all. This is wonderful. Mashar, I'm so glad that you were able to come to the show. So
Thank you
glad you were
so
able to be
much.
on
Thank you
today.
so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, listen, before I let you go, though, I want you to share with us three things that you would say for anybody who's making a change, for change makers. What would be your three biggest pieces of advice?
My three big pieces of advice would be always remember to be strong, be level headed, be open minded to everything. My second advice is to always be open to everything. Like, always remember. And my third advice, always remember to stand up, speak up for yourself, and remember that no matter where you come from, always remember to be yourself.
Be yourself. Authenticity. I love it. You guys, this has been the Mashara Peters. She's the author of Secrets of Avalon into the Avalon Forest. It is released now. You can get copies of the book at www.secretsindavalon.com and make sure by the same hashtag you can check her out on Instagram to stay in touch. Mashara, it has been a pleasure having you, my dear. It's been a
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, fam and friends, you know this is the end of our show, but not the end of our connection. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, and if on this episode you got something, Mashara was dropping some jewels there for us, sisterhood, connection. Hey, I want you to share this with someone and a friend, a family member, colleague, neighbor. It don't matter. Share it with them. We love to get them connected. And so I always want to remind you that every Friday we drop a new show. And I look forward to seeing you guys back here next week. Mashara, thank you for dropping by.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Bye. Thank you.